North America's largest developer of dollar stores. Over 4,600 stores open since 1993. For more information, visit our website at dollarstoreservices.com.
My name is John LaFronz. I'm the general manager here at Dollar Store Services. I've been here for 19 years, helping folks develop their stores. Prior to that, I've been in the dollar discount store industry both as a buyer, a store owner. I worked for a large corporate chain for about 30 years. So this is what I've done. I love our business, and I love working with people that love our business as well. Dollar Store Service is North America's largest developer of independently owned retail stores and dollar stores, with over 4,600 opened since 1993. And we've been doing this for 23 years, almost 24 years now, for people that want to get into the dollar store industry. But as we all know, you can't own a Dollar Tree or a Family Dollar or a Dollar General. They're all corporately owned stores. Welcome. So for the last 24 years, we've been developing stores just like them for people like you and me that want to get into this industry. And we have several different store formats, which we'll talk about in a minute. Our program is very simple. We offer a comprehensive, it's called a turnkey package, and it provides every aspect of opening and running a dollar store. And we'll get into those services. The 7 key services basically are financing assistance, site location assistance. Once you've secured a location or identified a location you like, we negotiate the lease agreement for you. We do the complete setup of your store, providing all the labor, fixtures, equipment, interior signage, an allowance towards the cost of the outdoor sign, and much more. We provide complete comprehensive training. You become a member of our merchandise network, which saves you 20 to 25% on merchandise versus what you would pay as an individual going to those very same suppliers. Additionally, once you're open, we give you very extensive and detailed long-term support. We stay with you for the life of your business. But of course, as we're not a franchise, there are no franchise fees or royalties. But you get all the benefits of being with a franchise, especially the merchandise network and the long-term support after opening. We do several different types of store formats, which I'll touch on very briefly. We do the traditional dollar store, which is like a Dollar Tree. We do a Dollar Plus store, which is like a Family Dollar or a Dollar General. And we do a new format that we're very excited about. We've been doing it for about 6 months now, and it's been very well received. It's our 1-2-3 store. And what's unique about the 1-2-3 store is that it is unique. There is nothing like it out there in the marketplace. So no matter where you're located, no matter who your competition is, whether it's Independence or Dollar Tree or Family Dollar or whomever, your store is going to be unique. And we'll talk more about the power of that 1-2-3 store. But basically, about half the store is comprised of the best dollar-only items available. The balance of the store carries products between $1 and $3. And what we've learned from research is that Dollar General, a good example, although they have merchandise selling up to $10 and $15, the bulk of their sales, or tonnage, is between $1 and $5. So we've taken the best of those items as well and put them into this 1-2-3 store. So you have the magic of the dollar-only price. You have the horsepower of the dollar plus items, the best items. So that enhances your bottom line profits. It enhances your average transaction, and it allows you to look at many more locations because that store can support a little bit higher rent factor than can a dollar only store. So it's a very exciting concept for us, and as I say, it's very well received. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So if I can briefly right now, I'd like to go through the 7 services and kind of tell you what we do, and then we'll get into the industry, and then we'll get to questions, which is, again, always the best part of the evening. Within our 7 services, I mentioned first financing, and we have a number of lenders that can address many different credit profiles. They're including SBA. A lot of our clients, good evening, welcome. A lot of our clients right now, if they own a home, they've appreciated very quickly. Home equity lines of credit are a very inexpensive way to fund your store. We also have a program where you can roll over your 401k with virtually no penalty and, in essence, borrow from yourself. And there are any number of other programs as well. The first thing that happens when you come into our company with an application of deposit is we move you to finance. You'll be assigned a financial advisor, and you will know within 48 to 72 hours what programs you qualify for and how much funding you'll qualify for from those programs and what the terms are. At that point, if you make the decision to go forward, we move you into site location. In site location, we assign a team to work with you, a leasing manager and a site locator. And your site locator will determine all the locations that are available in your market and in the size range that you've indicated for your store. Then we eliminate the locations that don't meet our criteria. Perhaps there's a competitor too close, or the rental rates are so high that we know we're not going to be able to negotiate them to an acceptable level for you. Then all the other locations that are interesting, we load up on a website that we created ourselves. It's called EasyTrack, and you will have a login and a password for that site, and you will be able to see every bit of information about every one of those locations. The shopping center map, the competition, where they are and who they are, the demographics, household income, traffic going by the center, and so on. You'll have all that information, and we'll review all that with you. And as we identify locations, and we'll ask you to visit those locations as well to assess on the ground things that we might not be able to see. For example, is the shopping center well lit at night? Is it well maintained? Is it a safe environment for your customers to shop in and for you to operate your business in? And as we identify locations that we believe have merit and that you like as well, we'll negotiate on them, and our leasing managers can get involved. And they will start with a letter of intent, and we have a minimum of 17 key provisions that we ask the landlord for in our first letter of intent. And a few of those, they're all very critical. A few of them are extremely so, and they're items such as making sure that the location, the restrooms are ADA compliant. That's the Americans with Disabilities Act. And if the restroom is not compliant and it's not handicapped accessible and you were to lease that space, you might be required then to retrofit that restroom at a cost of $10,000 or $12,000. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. We want to make sure that the landlord is going to bear that expense if it needs to be done. Other key clauses we negotiate are a dark clause. And what that means is if you lease a location in a shopping center with a large anchor tenant like a grocery store or a Target or a Walmart, and all of a sudden they move out or go dark. All of a sudden now that location isn't the same location that you leased. It's not as powerful, as it once was. So we negotiate options for you to get out of that lease. And we also negotiate for what's called a no relocation clause, where you've negotiated for a specific spot within that shopping center. The landlord can't come back 6 months or a year later and say, I would like to move you to the end of the center because I got somebody else I want to put in this space. We don't want that to happen. And so we make sure it doesn't. At the end of the lease, and then if we're in agreement on the letter of intent, we review it all with you. We negotiate to final terms with the landlord. You approve them. And if you're in agreement with the terms, then we have them draft the lease. We review the lease with you, and then you're ready to execute it. At that point, we schedule your store setup. A lot of things are happening at this point. We schedule your store setup, and of course, and we're also scheduling your training. As far as the store setup goes, again, as I mentioned earlier, we provide everything within the 4 walls. Your store package includes all the fixtures, the merchandise. We send a build-out supervisor on site. He has a crew of laborers that work with them. They will receive all the fixtures. Typically, we start on a Monday morning. The fixtures arrive early in the morning. Our crew is there to receive them. Good evening, and starts setting them up. Later in the day, the merchandise starts arriving. And does so over the next 2 or 3 days. As the merchandise is coming in, our crew is receiving it and stocking the shelves. They're also installing the interior signage, setting the checkout, the cash registers, and by the end of the week, Friday or Saturday at the latest, your store is 100% ready to open. Prior to the store setup, however, we're reviewing your merchandise orders with you, and we're doing your training. And we do the training via the internet and on the phone, and we've been doing that for many years. It's very, very effective. We review every aspect of running your business, whether it's hiring, firing, all the human resources functions, how to manage your business, how to keep control of your inventory, how to maintain an average cost of goods that you need to have to be acceptable. These are all things that we cover. There's over 36 topics in the training manual alone, and we spend as much time as necessary, and we custom tailor the training to an extent too. So if you had business experience but no retail experience, we'd focus more on the retail side of the ledger. If you had a lot of retail experience but have never owned or operated a business, we're going to spend a little bit more time on the operational aspect of owning a business. And we tailor that so that we make sure that it's best suited for you. So we do the training. Our staff arrives. They build out your store. As I mentioned earlier, you become part of our merchandise network, and we have over 80 suppliers in our network. Some of them are what we call general merchandise suppliers, which supply many different categories of merchandise, and some of them are more specialty suppliers like costume jewelry, greeting cards, party supplies, things like that. And you'll have access to all of them. And we start out by selecting ones that are best suited for you based on where you are locally. Within our network, there are three key components of merchandise, and they are value, variety, and new merchandise. And you need to execute all those items to be most successful. Our buyers, myself included, we travel once a month to all of our suppliers. We hand select the best new products that they have available, and we negotiate the prices. And if we get to an acceptable price on an item, it's presented to you for your consideration to add to your store's product mix. If we don't get to that right price, or we don't like the quality of the item, we will never present it to you. You'll never see it from us. So we're hand selecting those items to make sure they have the value, the quality, and also the packaging, which is very important. Merchandise of all merchandise, costs are negotiable. And the best time for us to do that is when we're sitting in front of the supplier with the merchandise on our hands. So that's what we do. And as I said, there are three key components of merchandise. Value, and value we create by making sure that we see the product and we negotiate the prices for you. Variety, we can provide because we have, again, over 80 suppliers. And with the minimums and freight guarantees we've negotiated with many of our key suppliers, you will be able to have in your store products that no one else in your area can have because they can't afford to buy them because they're either too expensive or the freight is too high to get them there. So it's a huge competitive advantage for you. You're going to have goods that nobody else in your market has. And then the last component is new merchandise. And this is, I won't say it's the most important, but it's extremely important. When a customer shops in your store, they come in, just like you do, they come in to buy the items they know they need. So they've got a shopping list just like you or I would have, and maybe there's a half a dozen or 8 or 9, 10 items on they know they need to pick up, like paper towels, toilet tissue, shampoos, things like that. So they get those items, and now they've satisfied their needs, and now they start to walk around the store a little bit, and maybe they pick up a nice set of kitchen towels. New design, very attractive, and they're very inexpensive, so they buy them. And maybe they go back to automotive and they pick up one of those man-made chamois. You know, they see it. Gee, I could use this to clean my car on the weekend, so they pick that up. And maybe a couple of toy items for their children, and so on. So now they get to the checkout, and instead of that $6 transaction that they plan to make, they're spending $12, $15, $18 in your store because now they're buying items that they didn't know they needed, but the perceived value on those items is so great that they have to make the decision to buy them, and so they do. Now, when they come back next week, as I started to say, they need those consumable items again, the paper towel. They don't need the kitchen towels. They don't need the toys. They don't need the man-made chamois. But if you show them something new in home decor or kitchen or auto care, whatever those categories might be, now they're a customer again. So it's so important that every time they come into your store, they see something that they haven't seen before. And so the new goods are critical. They build your average sale, they build your gross profit, and they keep customers coming back. So most important thing that you can do is keep new product flowing into your store all the time. And then, of course, I want to touch briefly on the long-term support, which is critical to your success. Within our merchandise network, before I pass by that, because you're part of our network, as I think I might have mentioned earlier, you can save you will save 20 to 25% on the cost of merchandise as opposed to you being an individual going to those same suppliers because of the buying power that our stores deliver to these different suppliers. If you were to buy $100,000 next year, that means you're going to save $20,000 to $30,000 just by being part of our network. So important, so important. Once you're open, that's where our work really starts. We assign a new store coordinator to work with you. They're on the phone with you virtually every day, helping you rebuy merchandise, track your sales by category, get you ready for every season and holiday, so that as we're tracking your sales with you by category, we can see where your sales are coming from. And if you're doing a better than average job in hardware, maybe you're generating 12% of your sales from hardware, and we look for hardware to be about an 8% to total sales. Well, we know you got a great customer for hardware, so we're going to help you expand what you carry there because you've got a good customer for hardware. The reverse is also true. If we find that maybe health and beauty aids is delivering you 6% of total, and we look for it to be 8 or 9, We're going to help you remediate that. We're going to ask you to send us photos of your display. We're going to look at your buying history and see and make sure that you're executing everything as you should. And if we see something that needs to be corrected, we'll help you do that. And sometimes we find that you're doing everything just as you should, and health and beauty aids is just not a great category in your store. So knowing that, we help you reduce the space allotted to that and give more space to the categories that are giving you a better result. And this is all in the spirit of helping you grow your business. And as I say, once you're open, that's where the heavy lifting starts for us, because we want to help you do that. We want to help you be as profitable as possible and generate all the sales that you can out of every category. It's just so important. And that's our 7 key services, I guess, in a nutshell. What I'd like to do is talk for just a minute or two about the industry, and then we'll kind of open it up to questions. And I appreciate everybody's patience, but I'm very passionate about our business. We talked a little bit about the 1-2-3 store, and I know you may have questions about that. Right now is maybe the best time to be thinking about getting your store open. There's never a bad time to get into the dollar store business. It's a $60 billion business last year. They're projecting it to approach $68 billion this year. So a very exciting time in our industry. It's been growing every year since as long as I can remember. Opening right now, though, if you're able to start right now, you will be able to get open to take full advantage of the fall and Christmas holidays, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. And as I say, there's never a bad time to open in our business. But if you can get open for fall, it's a great opportunity to introduce your store to many more customers, because everybody is out shopping. So think about that. You know, we can get you through the program fairly quickly if you're ready to go, and we'll talk more about that later. Why are dollar stores doing better than they ever have? Obviously, we came through this pandemic last year, all of us. One side benefit, if there is a side benefit, is that many more people visited dollar stores for the first time, and they found that our stores had products that they wanted, that they needed, and that they couldn't find in their traditional retail stores. Grocery stores were out of paper products. They're out of all the PPE items, the masks, the sanitizers, and so on. Our stores had them. And when people shop the stores, people that never shopped dollar stores before, they found that not only did they get those items at the best possible prices, but they found value throughout the store. And every survey that I've seen says those customers are here to stay. Just like in 2008, 2009, when the economy took a pretty bad downturn, which I'm sure everybody remembers, more and more people shop dollar stores for the first time, and they didn't leave because they found value. There was a survey that was done early this year, and it was dealing more with grocery stores. And they asked customers a couple of things. First, they asked them if they felt that grocery stores had kind of price gouged them during the pandemic, and over 70% said yes, they felt that they did. And if you've been shopping, you know that prices have changed. The other thing that they asked them, which is very interesting, was what are the 2 most important things to you when you shop? One was convenience, which makes sense. The second one was price, which also makes sense. And what do dollar stores deliver every day? They're convenient to shop. You can get in and get out quickly. And every item that we carry is going to be priced lower than any traditional retailer. So 2 more reasons why people are hitting our stores in record numbers. CNN reported earlier this year that dollar stores will open more stores in 2021 than every other retailer combined. So knowing that, it's a great time to do our business. One other thing to remember is that because of the pandemic, sadly, many traditional retailers did not survive. They just couldn't ride out the pandemic. Our stores were considered essential businesses in virtually every state, so they did not have to close. Though, as I say, many businesses did. The benefit of that for you is that there are many great locations available right now, and landlords are looking for quality tenants to fill them. And they know that our stores are pandemic-proof, they're recession-proof, they're Amazon-proof. So they're very exciting for landlords. They love to see our businesses go into their stores. And what's happening in the economy? Unemployment is down, new job creation is up, consumer confidence last month hit 86%, meaning that people feel the economy is on the upswing. That's the biggest number for quite some time. Retail sales were estimated last week to exceed $4.4 trillion this year. That's about an 18% increase over 2020. So all the arrows economics-wise are pointing up. It's an incredible opportunity right now to jump into this business and take advantage of everything that's happening. Dollar General, and I use them sometimes as an example because they're a public company. Last year in the second quarter, which was at the height of the pandemic, April, May, June, or March, April, May for them, they reported the largest sales increase in the history of their company. They're up over 22% for that quarter. Their stock price was historically higher than it's ever been. And that just, again, tells the story that customers are shopping dollar stores, and they are here. So one other thing I'd like to touch on very quickly. In our program, we have, and I know a lot of people ask this, so I just wanted to mention it. We do have a lot of add-on revenue generators that you can add to your store after opening, and we have programs for all of them. And a lot of our owners will choose one or more of them depending on what they think will work best for them. But there are things like the EBT program, which is the food stamp program, which you can add to your store once you're open. It's a great advantage for you. Being able to take those EBT cards creates extra traffic for you, and customers that have them can shop virtually every item in your store. Some of our stores add key duplication. We have a program where they can custom print banners while the customers wait. You can also add things like mailbox rentals, notary services, lottery in some areas, and of course a lot of our owners decide they want to add beer and wine or tobacco products, and we can help you do that as well. So once the store is open, you can add a lot of items to it. You can really personalize it, customize it to your specific market and your customer base, and we help you with all of those things as you move forward and continue to establish your business. To start our program, if you choose to do so, as I mentioned, I think earlier, simply you do a very simple application. You put in place a $500 deposit, which is fully refundable for any reason or no reason. If you come on board and find you can't get financing, we refund your deposit. If you get into real estate and we can't find a location that you like, you just ask for a refund, we send your deposit back to you. If you do go forward and open a store, then we take that deposit and we apply it to the purchase price of your store. So you never lose it, it's never at risk. And if you decide to do that, you can contact your sales representative, and they can do that application over the phone with you in about 10 minutes. And with that, what I'd like to do is kind of open it up to questions. If you could just give me your name, your first name would be fine, and then and ask your question. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Who wants to start off?
Yes, my name is Bim. I'm from Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'd like to ask, how much liquid capital will I need to maintain to cover the fee until it break even?
Okay, good question. Generally speaking, these stores establish themselves very quickly, because they're not like a lot of other businesses. A lot of businesses, you have to find the location, and people have to see you. Then they have to understand what your business is, and finally they have to have a need for your business or service. Dollar stores, everybody knows what they are, and they need your product today. So the key is finding a good location, and we work very hard to do that for you. To answer your question, typically a store within the first 30 days, and keep in mind that we negotiate a number of months of free rent for you, so you may not pay rent for the first 2, 3, 4 months that you're in business. But typically the stores are, for the most part, in the black. I'd say certainly by 90 days, sometimes much sooner. But that's a pretty fair assumption. And when we release you into real estate, we do a worksheet for you that estimates, in addition to the store package price for the size you've selected, we estimate the other expenses that you might need to have funds for, including working capital. So we make sure that you're positioned to open your store and ride out the first several months until you do flip over into the black. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Next question?
Where do you get your for the applications, how do you go about obtaining an application?
We can actually do it over the phone with you. It's very, very quick. There is one on the website, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of difficult to navigate. So you can call your rep, or if you want to give me your name, I can have them call you in the morning or whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay.
What was your name, ma'am?
Tina. Okay, and another question is, you said do you know how many stores are your 1, 2, 3 stores are in California?
I don't know, but I can find out for you.
And what they and
sure, I will check that. The rents are going to vary based on the rents are going to vary obviously based on the market.
Right.
You know, Sacramento's less expensive than San Francisco, but you know, we're very hard to find the rents that make sense. And what we do, and that's a very good question, I appreciate that. When we're in real estate and we get to the final set of numbers for a specific location, we know what the final rent's going to be. We know how much free rent you're going to get. And we know everything about the location, you know, who the co-tenants are, who the competitors are, where they are, and so forth. I can actually sit down with you and we do kind of an estimated profit and loss statement to assess that location, to see what the potential is. And we do that obviously before you sign the lease. We want to make sure that's going to work for you. So that's always part of our process.
Mm-hmm. And where's your headquarters located for the training?
We are in Las Vegas, Nevada, but we do our training right now over the phone and via the internet. We've done that for years, coupled with classroom training as well. And during COVID, we, like a lot of companies, we reversed and went basically with remote training, which has been effective for the last 15 years for us. So right now we're still doing that. It's on the internet, over the phone. You can do it at your leisure. And then the trainer here in the office will always recap with you, address any questions you might have, things you don't understand. She'll go back through them. And it's broken up, so it's very easy to do over a number of days on your timetable.
Okay. One more question. What are the qualifications for 100% finance?
That's a tougher question for me to ask. Usually if you have, because everybody's credit profile is different, but if you're in the low 700s, and have and again, don't hold me to any of this. I'm not a financial person. But what I know is if you're in the low 700s, and the other thing that a lot of lenders look at is your debt to income ratio. So if your debt, your monthly obligations are less than 45% typically of your monthly income, you should be gold. But
technically it's 30%.
I just know what our lenders ask for.
Okay.
But I'd be happy if it was 30%. I'm always the doom and gloom guy. It's what I am. But no. But the thing is, as I say, everybody's credit profiles are different. You know, I may have a high score, but my credit is not very long established, so it's not as powerful as somebody that has a lower score but has had good credit for many years. So they look at all of that. And like I say, the easiest thing to do is do the application, let somebody in our finance department take a look at it, and you'll know, again, within 48 hours what you can do, what the terms are, how much money you can secure, and so on.
Okay, so when they run credit, is it a hard hit?
No, and again, thank you for asking that question. No, it's a soft inquiry, doesn't impact your credit score one iota. And yes, I have no concerns about that. You should be doing this teleseminar instead of me. You're asking all the right questions.
Well, actually, I've been doing a lot of research over the last year on this company.
Oh, good. Good. Well, thank you for coming in this evening.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question.
Sir, I have two questions.
Yes, what was your name, sir?
My name is Rohit.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Question?
First question. I'm sorry if someone asked this question before. My call got disconnected. Maybe I missed the question. So what's the average gross profit ratio we can expect?
Okay, good question.
Because the are all pretty close. Like, let's say if I go with a dollar store, in this scenario, since I'm selling everything for $1 or so, what's the gross profit I can expect from the merchandise?
Okay, very good. Um, the average the average cost of goods in a dollar only store is going to be about 54 to 55 cents, which makes your gross profit on merchandise about 45%. In a dollar plus store, it tends to be higher. Your gross profit is going to be in the range of 50%, sometimes more, depending on the ultimate product mix that goes into your store.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. And second question is bit kind of a negative question, and I apologize in advance for this.
Okay.
Just just in case, just in case, if someone's stuck in a situation where business is not profitable, and they stuck with the kind of lease or something where it's not like kind of in the business favor or something.
Hmm.
Could you guys help with that? Gray
Yeah,
shade of
to have some kind of an exit strategy.
right.
Sure. No, one thing that we always seek to do in every lease, and again, every negotiation is different, but one thing that we always try to insert into the lease is a kind of a sales clause where, say, for example, you have a 5-year lease. If at the end of year 2 you haven't achieved a certain level of sales, you're able to get out of the lease with basically no further responsibility. Maybe you have to give them 3 months notice or something like that. Uh, so that's always the first stroke that we try and do. We make that number artificially low so you have the ability to get out, obviously. Um, Other options can be to negotiate with the landlord, and often we can help with that. If you're struggling, um, they would rather have a more viable business in that location than yours for whatever reason. Other options can be to advertise the store for sale, and we've actually helped with that on a few occasions. Doesn't happen very often, but over the years, I've had a couple of those. Um, but most often, if we can put that security into the lease, that's the best way to go at it. That way, you can step away from the lease. And again, if we have that dark clause in our lease as well, so if something changes in the shopping center, you have the ability to step out of your lease as well, or go to a reduced rent or percentage rent or whatever we're able to negotiate with that particular rent. Yeah, absolutely. There are always options for that.
Thank you.
And that wasn't a negative question. That's a good question. So thank you.
Welcome.
Next question?
Hi,
Hi,
my
this is
name is
Marilyn.
Tina. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is Marilyn Cadden in Katy, Texas.
Yes, how are
I
you?
just wanted to know. How many $1 to $3 stores there is in Katy.
In Katy, I don't believe we've developed any at this point, Marilyn.
Okay,
You
that's
can be
good to know.
you can be the first.
Hopefully.
So let's get started. No, absolutely, you would be the first one. I don't think we have any in Katy at all.
Okay. Now, second question.
Yes.
If I will decide to start with a business,
Mm-hmm.
what is the turnaround?
From start to when you're open?
Yes.
Okay, good question. The finance process is pretty quick. Normally 4 to 5 days, and you'll have your funding lined up, and you can move over into site location real estate. Now, the process in site location and real estate, I don't like to hurry because I want to make sure that we don't miss a good location. So we do take a little bit of time there. It's kind of like finding a spouse. You have to kiss a lot of frogs to get that one prince or princess. So site location typically takes about 30 days from inception to when we're zeroing in on a location that you've approved. Can be a little bit longer, but 30 days is a pretty safe bet. And then from that point, assuming the landlord doesn't have a lot of work to do in the space to get it ready for you, we can arrive 21 days after that, and you'll be open in a week. So you can call it 60 to 75 days at the outside from start to finish. from the day
Okay.
you submit your application. And sometimes that can go much faster. It just kind of depends on how things go. But typically, that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Okay. Last question.
Yes.
What is the most ideal square footage to
Okay.
begin with?
Okay. The most ideal square footage is a hard question to answer. Every one of our store sizes work well, very well in the right environment, and we work very hard to find that environment. If you're doing a 3,000 square foot store, we're going to find a great
Wow.
location for you. If you can only do a 1,000 square foot store, we'll find a location where that can do very nicely for you. In a perfect world, if you can start with 1,500 or 2,000 square feet, that's a good store size to kick off with, and it gives you the opportunity maybe to expand down the line with your second store. One thing
Okay.
we always do too is say you come in and you say, I want to do a 1,500 square foot store. We're going to look for spaces up to 2,000 square feet anyway, and the reason we do that is we don't want to miss a good location because it's 200 feet larger than that 1,500 that you want. If we find a little bit larger space and it's a home run location, you and I work together. We'll find a way to make it work for you.
Okay. Yeah, but initially we can the 1,000 square footage is a good size.
Absolutely. And another thing that we're often able to do too, and keep this in mind, I'm actually doing this for one of our clients right now. Often in the lease, we can negotiate for what's called the right of first refusal. And what that means is if you're there and you've got your 1,000 square foot store and your business is really good and you would like to expand, the landlord, if the space next to you becomes available, somebody moves out, with that clause in place, the landlord is obligated to offer you that space before he puts it out on the open market. And also, if a larger space opens up somewhere else in the center, same thing. He's obligated to come back to you and say, I've got this space over here, it's 2,000 square feet. Are you interested in it? Before he ever puts it out on the market. So it's a nice way to protect yourself if you do want to expand on the line.
Okay,
So
that would be great.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Marilyn Cadden.
Cadden. Is that a K or a C?
C.
Very good. Good questions. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Tina.
Tina.
From Texas, Lubbock, Texas.
Okay.
I have a few questions regarding the financing.
Mm-hmm.
This is just inquiring. We are, I hate to use the word obligated, but we have to go through you guys for financing, or should we get outside financing?
Oh, absolutely. No, you can fund any number of ways. If you have if you have a relationship with a bank in your area, absolutely.
Okay.
And as I said, there's 401k rollovers. There's lots of other options as well. But no, you're not at all obligated to use any of the lenders that we have available.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Also,
yes.
Second question is, so just looking over the brochure and everything, for a certain square footage store, it's a fee, right? So we pay that fee and we get all of the benefits from it that are listed. And then what happens after that? You guys keep coaching us for the lifetime of the store, but is that store truly 100% mine, or, what if I wanted to change locations? Would I need to go through you guys to do that? Like, would I be 100% independent as if I opened it without any assistance, basically?
That is correct. You are 100% independent, as I might have said earlier. You have all the benefits of a franchise, but none of the restrictions that a franchise might place on an individual. Yeah. 100% yours. If you need help finding it, if you want to expand or move or open a second store, we're always available to help you with that, but you're certainly not obligated to go through us to do that.
Okay, I understand. And then, third question, the merchandise and the suppliers. we go through the suppliers that you supply, but we could also branch out eventually once we learn the business and things like that.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of our owners may be in an area where there's, for example, there's local product that they want to add to their store, whether it's uh, ethnic grocery items or
Yes.
culture that's specific to their area. Absolutely, no restrictions at all.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Yes.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Lawrence. I'm
Yes,
in
sir.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Also,
good.
I would like for the sales rep to call me tomorrow so we can do an application.
Excellent.
But two questions I have. Are there any stores in the Shreveport, Louisiana area?
You know, Lawrence, I do not know sitting here, but I can check that for you. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
And also,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
also, if I didn't want or need any financing to get open, what's a good amount of revenue to have on hand to get started?
Depending on the store size, and I'll use the 1,000 square foot size store just as an example. The price of the store, dollar only, $79.9, and I would expect that you'd want to have another $20,000 available to you because you're going to have rent deposits, usually first 1 month and 1 month security. You're going to have utility deposits. There's going to be some expenses for business licenses and things like that, and you want to have a little bit of a war chest of working capital. So, as a general rule of thumb, I would say you probably want to have about 15 to 20% of the package price for whatever size you're looking at as additional working capital.
And how much did you say the package price for 1,000 to 1,500 square feet was?
1,000 square foot dollar only store is $79.9.
Okay.
And then they kind of go up. Yeah, so I would say there you'd want another $15,000 or so dollars available to you in addition to that $79,000.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Lawrence, let me jot down your number so I can have someone reach out to you in the morning.
9996.
9996. I'll see who has your project, and I'll have them call you in the morning.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and I'll check on locations in Shreveport as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Next question?
This is Tina. I have one more question.
Yes.
On the 1, 2, 3 stores, when you branch out to do the EBT and maybe the mailbox service, and if you want to sell alcohol or food, how do you help obtain the liquor license for that facility?
As the store owner, you have to apply for that directly. We can't. We're a third party. We can't be involved in that. But we can walk you through the process.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, we can walk you through the process. And keep in mind, if that's something, if you do come on board, if that's something that you're thinking about, you always want to make sure your leasing person knows right away because they need to work that into the use clause. Even if you don't do it right away, you've got to make sure that you have that use protected for yourself.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, this is Anthony again.
Yes, sir.
Would that same thing apply as if you want to have sell cigarettes?
Yes. Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
You have to go to your city or county, get a license for to sell the tobacco. It's usually pretty straightforward, not hard to get.
Yeah.
And we can help
you.
Yeah,
because I would do tobacco products and not so much liquor. Really.
Yeah, a little harder to control. But sometimes, depending on where you are, sometimes to have a cooler with just, individual beers for sale might be good.
Yes.
Certainly tobacco is still very popular. A lot of markets you can get lottery, which is a nice, clean business. It's not as profitable, but it does bring people into your store, and that's a good thing, too.
Oh, yeah. That does.
Same thing with the mailbox rentals. We just rolled out that program, but I know if you have 30, 40, 50 mailboxes and you get them rented, you'll get $20 a month per box. But more importantly, that customer probably comes into your store 2 or 3 times a week to check their mail.
Yeah,
So
right.
you got a shot at them every single time. So thanks again so much. If you have more
All right,
questions,
thank
give
you.
me a call or call your rep, and hopefully we can do some good things together.